Concerns about having a free, fair and credible election have continued to rise as the date for the 2019 presidential election draws near. International elections observer groups are also taking advantage of the last-minute window of discussions with INEC to dot the I's and cross the T's before the elections kick off. At this meeting with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja, delegations of elections observer missions from the ECOWAS and the European Union want an assessment of the electoral umpire's preparedness for the polls.
We want for this first meeting that we have with you to have your concerns and your priority during this election. We know that you have done a lot of work, but we are at the eve of the election, and perhaps you have some message to give to us and some concerns that you will bring to us in our job as team observer.
There are 4 core areas of expertise. There's legal, there's operations, there's media, and there's gender, and I think disabilities. This is because we think that those areas are really critical to successful elections.
While assuring the International Observer Mission of INEC's preparedness for the general elections, the chairman of the commission raises concern about plans by some politicians who are allegedly devising new method of vote buying.
The attention of the commission has been drawn to a new plan by some political actors to use food vendors around polling units with large voter populations as collection points for cash for votes, as well as other forms of material inducement to voters on election day.
He also reaffirms INEC's stance on the use of the card readers for accreditation, insisting that every other means of accreditation is illegal.
Clause 10 of the regulations and guidelines recently released by the Commission makes the use of card readers mandatory. It is an offense to accredit a voter by any other means.
It's less than a month to the presidential elections in February the 16th this year. The exercise will be keenly contested by 73 presidential candidates, the largest since the return of democratic rule in 1999.
All right, welcome back. Well, that's what we're talking about now in the build-up to the 2019 elections. We've got Jasper Azwatalam, who is the Deputy Director South, Youth Mobilization of the APC Presidential Campaign Council in Abuja. We also have Kasim Afegwa, who is the spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council for PDP. And then we have Dare Ariyo, who is a civil rights advocate and co-convener, Free Nigeria Movement. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the program. Let me start with Kasim and Jasper concerning what the INEC chairman raised. And I have to ask, why are you politicians like this? You're trying to use food vendors to manipulate the process, vote buying again. Jasper, I beg your pardon, Kasim, let me start with you on that one.
Who, me?
Yes, please, Kasim, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, elections are here. Elections are by the corner, and we will not raise alarm if we didn't see or if we didn't have, information about what the ruling party is trying to do. Of course, you saw what happened in Ekiti elections. You saw what happened in Osun elections. Those were well documented by the international and local observers. So we just feel that INEC should do the needful and ensure that they create a level playing field. They should try as much as possible allow the process to be free, fair, and credible so that all participants at the elections will have every cause to endorse the outcome if it is seen to be transparent, if it is seen to be credible, if it is seen to be free and fair. And when you see us raising alarm, it's because of the kind of scenarios we are seeing, the kind of information we are getting from our field officers. We have people all over the place who are also monitoring the activities of the APC. And so to that extent, it's our responsibility to also alert Nigerians. Just barely 3 days ago, the information minister came out to say that the opposition was trying to cause mayhem and violence in some 10 states, and by that form an interim government. For me, that's like saying that there's no government in place, because if you are surrendering your sovereignty to the opposition and thinking that they have the capacity to cause violence and also cause an interim government to come in place, it means that you have failed in your responsibility of providing security to lives and property. So, well, we as players in this whole process, we are going to keep our eyes, we're going to keep vigil on what is happening. We're going to monitor closely what the activities of INEC are, what the APC is doing, so that in the final analysis, the votes of the average Nigerian who is coming out to vote on February 16 and March 11 as it is, would count and will be seen to have counted. All right, well, our initial fear with respect to the accreditation is still very much in place.
Okay, we'll come to that.
We are saying that
Kazim,
voters, then you wait later before you
just
vote.
a minute. We'll come to that bit as we progress, but let me bring in Jasper at this moment. Well, Jasper, by now, I guess you know that there will always be accusing fingers pointed at the ruling party, which your party is.
Chamberlain, and thank you very much. Yeah, Chamberlain, thank you very much. You know, I'm just laughing because this is a typical adage, a proverb that the Igbos use. They said a man who cuts people's head do not allow people with cutlass to pass by him, because every time people are passing with cutlass, he thinks they want to cut his head. The issue, I'm so elated that this time around the PDP, they are talking about vote buying. What this actually means is that we are beating them to their game. If you look at the history of our recent democracy, from 1999, the PDP introduced the highest form of rigging to the electoral system, where you see that people will cast their vote, and at the end of collation in the polling unit, before you get to the local government, they have changed the result. But gradually, the opposition has put pressure, as at that time we are in the opposition, we have put pressure. And I commend the Nigerian civil society organizations and all Nigerians who have gotten aware,
when you say,
shown that
when you say you have beaten them to their game,
those processes are no longer,
can you hear me, just when you
say, no longer happening
just a minute,
today.
When you say you have beaten them,
rigging game.
So it means you're rigging better. It means you're rigging better.
No, what I'm saying is that now it has.
Does it mean that you're rigging better now?
What I'm saying is that they have introduced this rigging, and then following this time that the APC has been in opposition, we are beating them to this. It doesn't mean we are rigging better. What it means is that we have reduced and eliminated rigging, and not credit only to the APC, to the Nigerian civil society organization and to the Nigerians at large. People now follow vote so that you don't longer see room to change figures. But it's unfortunate that they have turned to vote buying. And if you recently, you would have heard that Musile Obanikoro, who was one of the hitmen of PDP in about 4 years ago when election was conducted in Ekiti State, has confessed that he ferried money to Ekiti State that they used in buying votes and in also bribing the security agent, which has been obvious and everybody know. So what I'm saying is that we have beaten them, and Nigerians has beaten them to the game of changing figures. Nobody can change figures in Nigeria now as votes are being collected, because Nigerians are so much aware. The civil society groups, their eyes are so much at alert to see. Now they have diverted to buying votes. But I want to tell you that within this short period, we have been able to enlighten Nigerians that you are not going to sell your vote to someone who have been in power for 16 years and had nothing to show for it.
Let me talk to Mr. Daria Rio now. What is your take on all of these, and how do you see the citizen, the electorate, being educated? Do you think the electorate is educated well enough to resist the urge to sell his or her vote?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First, I want to thank the INEC for actually coming out to tell Nigerians that politicians are devising a new means of trying to buy votes. Before the Osun elections, we were in Osun together with the area father and some other persons to advocate for don't sell your vote. Irrespective of our political leanings, irrespective of our political interests, one thing is that we must have a country before we even talk about politics. One thing people must realize is that vote buying, it's something that will destroy our politics and our elections if we don't do the right thing. Let me say critically and with every due sense of responsibility that there is no political party in Nigeria today that cannot buy vote if the opportunity presents itself. However, I believe that there are mechanisms that have been put in place one way or the other to check some of these things, but they are redevising some other means of doing that. And that is why some of us have been calling into questions the trader money initiative of the federal government. And I also saw it in the statement of the former President Obasanjo, also singling out, and even both local and international observers and NGOs have also raised issue. You remember that I watched the last campaign of the APC in Edo State when Comrade Adams Oshiomhole said, by the time we leave, the vice president is coming to come and do trader money. Now, you understand when you look at some of these things, it means that the trader money has been seen a sort of way of institutionalizing a kind of a vote buying. And the way they did it in Osun election and the way they are doing it close to the 2019 elections has raised a serious suspicion about the fact that while INEC is doing a lot with CSOs and some other stakeholders to stop this incident of vote buying, the government of the day has found a way around it to institutionalize vote buying through trader money initiative. And this is not good for our democracy. And there's something they don't understand here.
Mr. Dare, if you just let me come in here, just so I can ask you this question. You are saying that from your submissions, that this seems to be a way to buy votes. But if it is a way to buy votes, what, in your view, must be done by the people, the electorate? What must be done by INEC, by security agencies, for instance, by all the stakeholders to ensure that this does not succeed? We do away with anything vote buy.
Yeah, for me, I think that the only thing now is for the federal government to halt this trader money initiative. INEC is doing a lot. The security agencies, some of them who are patriotic, would definitely support whatever INEC is doing. The CSOs who are on ground doing a lot of voter education, advising Nigerians not to buy their vote, all these people are doing it simply because for us to have a free, fair, and credible election. And I can also tell you something very important. Go around this country today, please, and you will see that we have less of posters and less of even some interland campaigns. You know why? A good number of the politicians are saying that, look, we're only reserving our money to buy votes. I'm not limiting this to any political party. I saw it when I traveled during the Christmas. A good number of the politicians refused to share Christmas gifts. They said, instead of us to use this money to share, to give Christmas gifts, we're going to reserve this money during the election to also buy our votes.